Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Some might even put him in the running for the smartest man in the world. So why on earth would the visionary genius behind Tesla and SpaceX completely deny and dismiss the existence of UFOs? In a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, when asked about aliens, he responded by stating that he has seen no evidence of aliens in the universe, noting that he would tweet about it if he ever came across one. In another recent interview during the World Government Summit 2023 in Dubai, the convener also asked Elon about aliens. Calling it an interesting question, Musk went on to provide an elaborate answer, saying,
I do find the whole question of aliens a very interesting one. What is typically called the Fermi paradox, which is that if the universe is really as old as science seems to think it is, and where are the aliens? Have we really been around for 13.8 billion years? If so, where shouldn't there be aliens all over the place? The crazy thing is I've seen no evidence of alien technology or any alien life whatsoever, and I think I'd know. SpaceX, we do a lot. I think I know. I don't think there's anyone who knows more about space, than me, or at least the space technology.
Unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life are the topics setting the internet ablaze these days. There is a plethora of evidence available from extremely credible witnesses that should be enough to corroborate the truth. UFOs are real, and they are here now. Let's delve into this mystery and explore the possible reasons behind his denial, and then ask yourself the question, why does Elon Musk deny the UFO phenomenon? First up, the video that many consider to be the most credible video capture of UFO footage. This video went viral after being shared on social media. Flying over Antigua, Colombia, the pilot Jorge Arteaga captured this jaw-dropping video. It clearly shows a large silver disc-shaped object flying past his airplane at an incredibly high speed, appearing to defy the laws of physics. If that is not a UFO, Mr. Musk, then please, pretty please with sugar on top, tell us what the heck it is and what's it doing up at that altitude. Many other pilots have also come forward to report UFO sightings, risking their careers and livelihood. One such veteran pilot is Captain Kenju Terachi, the Japanese pilot whose UFO sighting over Anchorage, Alaska was confirmed on radar screens. Said the thing was so enormous that his cargo plane was tiny compared to the mysterious object. Captain Terachi also said that there were two other small unidentified objects smaller than his cargo carrier that did not appear on the radar. After giving an interview to journalists from Kyoto News, Terachi was soon grounded for several years and regulated to a desk job. Terachi's co-pilot also confirmed mysterious sighting.
Saw this illumination that was moving with respect to the stars. We were smart enough to not say, Houston, there's a light out there that's following us. So technically it becomes an unidentified flying object.
While Neil and Buzz were on the lunar surface, Neil switched to the medical channel and spoke directly with the chief medical officer, saying, they're here, they're parked on the side of the crater, they're watching us.
Buzz Aldrin, who was the lunar module pilot on Apollo 11 and one of the first two humans to land on the moon, made remarkable statements about UFOs. During an interview, the former astronaut said the UFOs made very clear their displeasure of the humans' arrival on the moon's surface. They were there monitoring us. He also stated that on the journey to the moon aboard Apollo 11, he said, "I had a remarkable experience. While gazing out of the window, I noticed a light that seemed to be moving alongside our spacecraft. This intriguing sight left me wondering, what was it? There were many explanations of what that could be, other than another spacecraft from another country or another world. There is a strong possibility of the existence of extraterrestrial life within our Milky Way galaxy, considering the vast numbers of other galaxies that exist. The likelihood of life existing somewhere in space is incredibly high. Life is not unique to our planet Earth." One of the most compelling quotes supporting Aldrin's claims of UFOs' existence is from Scott Carpenter, a multi-talented American naval officer whose resume includes aviator, test pilot, aeronautical engineer, astronaut, and aquanaut. He stated, "At no time when the astronauts were in space were they alone. There was constant surveillance by UFOs."
That had UFO experience were in their Air Force careers before the astronaut program. And of course, being a military and a Navy pilot myself, the stories among airline pilots and other pilots they're just all over the places. And we're all told, shut up about it. I never chased one myself, but all my friends that did, where it was all the same thing. Don't talk about it.
Edgar Mitchell was an American astronaut, naval officer, and aviator. He is best known for being the sixth person to walk on the moon as part of NASA's Apollo 14 mission, which took place in 1971. This was the third mission to successfully land humans on the lunar surface. Mitchell and his fellow astronaut Alan Shepard spent about 33 hours on the moon, conducting scientific experiments, collecting samples, and exploring the lunar landscape. Mitchell's contributions to the mission included conducting experiments related to seismic activity and studying the moon's geological features. So, do you think if this respected, credible astronaut stated the truth, Elon would listen?
We're sitting there filming, a little saucer came from, I say little saucer, it was a saucer, came flying over their heads, put down 3 little landing gear and landed right out on the dry lake bed. And they picked up their cameras and started over toward it, filming as they went. And when they got in fairly close to it, it lifted up, put the gear back in the wheel wells, tipped up, and took off at a great rate of speed. And so they came into my office and told me what had happened, and I sent them over to develop the film. And then had to go through all the proper regulations of reporting this. And we wound up having to send the film forward to Washington in the base jet airplane. And I don't know whether anyone's ever seen it since.
Gordon Cooper was an American astronaut and aeronautical engineer. He is best known for being one of the original 7 astronauts selected for NASA's Project Mercury, the United States' first human spaceflight program. Cooper's most significant spaceflight was his participation in the Mercury Atlas 9 mission, which took place on May 15th through 16th, 1963. This mission was also known as Faith 7. During this flight, Cooper became the first American to spend more than a day in space, orbiting the Earth for a total of 34 hours. Mr. Musk, is that enough time spent in space to be a source of veracity on the subject of UFOs? In April 1964, Lonnie Zamora, a New Mexico police officer, reported a significant UFO sighting that has become a notable case in UFO history. The sighting occurred on April 24, 1964, near Sirocco, New Mexico in the USA. While on patrol, Officer Lonnie Zamora heard a loud roar and saw a shiny object in the sky. He initially thought it might be a car accident, but as he approached, he realized it was an oval-shaped craft with flames underneath. He also noticed 2 white-clad beings near the craft. Zamora described the craft as shiny, egg-shaped, and white with no visible windows or doors. It had a red insignia on the side, resembling a sideways letter L with an elongated line beneath it. Flames and smoke were seen beneath the craft as it lifted off. Zamora observed 2 humanoid figures in white coveralls standing near the craft. You could not make out their faces, but noticed they were around average human height. Zamora's presence seemed to startle the beings, causing them to notice it. The craft then emitted a loud, roaring sound and took off into the sky, disappearing from sight. The sighting gained attention from law enforcement, the military, and UFO researchers. The site was examined for physical evidence, including landing marks and traces of radiation. The FBI and Air Force conducted investigations with the conclusion that Zamora's account was credible and unexplained. The Lonnie Zamora UFO incident remains one of the best documented and credible UFO sightings in history. During October 1967, police constables Roger Willey and Clifford Waycott recounted their experience with an unidentified flying object to ITN. The incident took place in the nighttime sky over Oakhampton.
Well, the object was likened unto a cross, although the inner parts were something similar to the points of a compass, and they were quite blurred, the inner parts of the cross.
But it was brilliant white, brilliant light.
How in fact did you see it? I mean, did it make any kind of noise to you?
No, there was no noise. The first time we saw it was when it was just above treetop height and ahead of us. And from then, Consul Willie just said, "Here we go then," and we drove off.
Listen to the sincerity from several of these law enforcement officers as they depict the same UFO incident that they all witnessed separately in the state of Illinois, as seen on a National Geographic TV special.
I was driving eastbound on Highway 50 when I see the object, the UFO, if you will. I first thought it was probably a bunch of helicopters flying in some type of formation. As I drew closer to it, I saw it start to cross over the roadway. It was unlike anything I have ever seen before. You could see the lights, and you could see something that they were attached to, and it was shaped like a triangle.
Well, there it is. Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir. Is there some type of strange flashing light ahead? It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird.
The United Kingdom's most notorious UFO incident occurred in December of 1980, close to RAF Woodbridge. During this event, personnel from the American Air Force came across distinctive markings and unusual radiological readings while looking into reports of unusual lights from the night before. At that time, Lieutenant Colonel Charles I. Halt, who served as the deputy base commander, documented his observations while on site, providing some of the most persuasive evidence of UFO presence in the UK up till now. In 2017, two significant UFO incidents came to light: the Tic Tac and the Gimbal encounters. These incidents involved encounters between U.S. Navy pilots and unidentified aerial objects. The Tic Tac incident took place in 2004, but was made public in 2017. U.S. Navy pilots from the USS Nimitz carrier battle group encountered an oblong white object with no visible wings or exhaust. The object, referred to as the Tic Tac due to its shape, demonstrated remarkable speed and agility, performing maneuvers beyond the capabilities of known aircraft. The incident was widely discussed and raised questions about advanced aerial technology. The Gimbal incident also came to light in 2017. U.S. Navy pilots encountered an object resembling a spinning top. The object exhibited unusual rotation and was able to maintain its orientation against the wind. The pilot's infrared camera footage showed the object emitting no visible exhaust plume. This incident, along with the Tic Tac encounter, contributed to discussions about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and potential extraterrestrial origins. Other countries' militaries have also captured similar footage. Take, for example, the Mexican military, who, while searching for drug runners, unexpectedly encountered and tracked 11 unidentified flying objects. Remarkably, this event was captured on camera, and it was explicitly acknowledged by the Mexican military personnel that these sightings were genuine and not fabricated.
He asked the pilot to follow it. They followed it for a period of time.
Reagan is enthusiastic about this. When he lands, he says, "I just saw a UFO." He's not just being crazy, he saw the UFO. He knows exactly what it is.
The pilot that corroborated Reagan's sighting was Air Force Colonel Bill Painter, who claimed that the UFO appeared to elongate and then rapidly shoot up into the sky.
Some years later, the pilot was asked, did he really think that Reagan believed in UFOs? And the pilot said, after what we saw in the sky that night, how could anybody not believe in them?
According to historians, it was this incident that sparked Ronald Reagan's lifelong interest and belief in UFOs. But unlike other politicians who suffered ridicule for such beliefs, Reagan did not, and for a very simple reason. His closest aides kept him from speaking publicly about his UFO experience and his belief in extraterrestrials.
The people that worked for him really tried to keep Reagan under control, so to speak, because they knew that he was very interested in this subject and wanted to talk about it publicly. So they had to kind of keep the lid on it, if you will.
There is no verified record of Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States, making a statement about a UFO sighting. While there have been various rumors and anecdotes suggesting that Reagan might have mentioned UFOs in some speeches or private conversations, there is no concrete evidence to support these claims. Ancient Aliens often presents speculative and controversial theories that are not universally accepted by the mainstream scientific community. However, with all that said, they sure do seem to put together a convincing argument. Let's hear what a president has to say in his own words on this subject.
In a schoolyard with about 20 other men, and we saw a bright light appear in the distant western skies, and it got closer and closer, and when it was just above the treetops, it changed color, and then it stayed there for a while, and then it disappeared into the distance. And none of us could ever imagine what it was, and I still don't know what it was.
In 76, you said you'd try and release all information to the public and to scientists about other UFO sightings.
Yes.
Do you think you achieved that?
I'm not sure, but we did release a lot of the information, but I don't know how much was not released.
Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, reported having an encounter with an unidentified flying object before he became president. In 1969, while he was a private citizen, Jimmy Carter filed a report with the International UFO Bureau in Oklahoma City, claiming to have seen a bright light in the sky in 1969. He described the object as changing colors and moving toward him before suddenly disappearing. Even if Elon Musk did not vote for any of these presidents, surely he has the respect for the office they held. And since this section revolves around the President of the United States having integrity, it seems reasonable to add this piece of history into the argument. In July 1952, there were a series of UFO sightings over Washington, D.C., including the White House and the U.S. Capitol. The sightings led to significant media coverage and government attention. On the night of July 19th through 20th, 1952, radar operators at Washington National Airport, now Ronald Reagan International Airport, picked up unidentified blips on their radar screens. These objects were reported to be moving at high speeds and performing maneuvers that were beyond the capabilities of known aircraft at the time. Air traffic controllers, military personnel, and civilian witnesses reported seeing lights and objects in the sky. Some witnesses described erratic flight patterns and sudden changes in direction. During a recent hearing with House lawmakers on unidentified anomalous phenomena, a retired Navy fighter pilot shared his account of encountering what he described as a tic-tac-looking object during a flight in 2004. Retired Navy Commander David Fravor, who served as commander of the FA-18F squadron on the USS Nimitz, claimed to have spotted the object during a flight off the coast of Southern California on November 14, 2004. Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich were in a training session with the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group about 100 miles southwest of San Diego, when the advanced radar on the ship that was part of their training group, the USS Princeton, detected what the operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles descending rapidly at a staggering altitude of 80,000 feet per second. Fravor and Dietrich swiftly stopped to investigate. We saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving along above the whitewater area. There was 4 of us in the airplanes watching this thing for roughly about 5 minutes, Fravor said in his interview. Fravor approached the object to get a better view. As he got closer, he noticed that the object seemed to mimic his movements. He was so confident that the object was aware of their presence. The mysterious object, as described by Fravor, was approximately the same size as his FA-18F aircraft. It had no marks, wings, or exhaust plumes. When he attempted to intercept the unidentified aerial phenomenon, it suddenly accelerated so rapidly that it vanished before his eyes, only to be detected again in a different location, roughly 60 miles away, in less than a minute. I think what we experienced was, like I said, well beyond the material science and capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years, Fravor testified Wednesday before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee. According to Lieutenant Ryan Graves, in 2014, his squadron, also known as the VFA-11 Red Rippers, started detecting unidentified objects in the training area off the coast of Virginia. Lieutenant Graves described it as if the sun was shining a flashlight on these objects. We were puzzled and determined to identify the mysterious objects. They seemed to appear almost every day. Whenever we ventured outside, there they were, both in the morning and evening, he explained to the newspaper. These things were pretty much out there. You could see them in a group of 2 to 3 to 6 or 7, he added. Retired Major David Grush openly stated that the U.S. had indeed recovered non-human biological material from the pilots of these vehicles, and he further emphasized that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the UAP program I talked to, that we are currently still on the program. He proceeded to affirm, my testimony is rooted in the information conveyed to me by individuals boasting a well-established history of credibility and dedication to this nation, a significant number of whom also presented convincing evidence through photographs, official documents, and confidential verbal accounts. And yet, Mr. Musk, you are expecting us to believe that these intelligent experts would completely fabricate these UFO tales, and furthermore, in front of Congress and the entire world? The Phoenix Lights refer to a series of widely witnessed, unidentified flying object sightings that occurred in the night sky over Phoenix, Arizona. The sightings took place on the evening of March 13, 1997, between approximately 7:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. The lights were described as a formation of bright, stationary, and distinct lights in the sky. Witnesses reported seeing a triangular or V-shaped formation of lights, often referred to as a craft. Some accounts described a series of lights, while others saw a single massive object. The phenomenon was observed by thousands of people across a wide area of Arizona, including Phoenix, Tucson, and other nearby towns. The lights were visible for varying amounts of time, and with some witnesses reporting the lights being visible for several minutes. Initially, the U.S. military claimed that the lights were flares dropped during a training exercise involving military aircraft. The official explanation provided by the military was met with skepticism by many witnesses and researchers who felt that the appearance of the lights did not match the behavior of flares. Fife Symington, who served as the governor of Arizona at the time, treated the incident as a joke. Years later, he admitted seeing this extraordinary incident and described the object as otherworldly. The Phoenix Lights event remains one of the most famous and widely documented UFO sightings in history. Its anniversary is marked by events and gatherings in the local community where witnesses, researchers, and enthusiasts discuss the phenomena and share their experiences. Despite all this evidence, how can an individual of Elon Musk's stature attempt to overlook or downplay the significance of these sightings? Thousands of people witnessed and recorded these events, yet Elon Musk discredits them. Even though the average person may question all of these sightings, Elon Musk shouldn't. Over the years, several individuals have courageously stepped forward to unveil the secrecy surrounding the phenomenon of UFOs and aliens, which begs the question, can they all be making things up? One possible explanation for Elon Musk's silence may lie in the scientific community's perspective. As a scientist and engineer, Musk may follow a rational approach, requiring concrete evidence before making any statement. UFO sightings often lack scientific scrutiny, leading many in the scientific community to remain skeptical. Musk may simply be waiting for conclusive evidence before speaking out on the matter, but exactly how much more conclusive evidence does he need? On a more personal level, Elon Musk is entitled to his own beliefs and privacy. Like many public figures, he may prefer to keep certain aspects of his life and beliefs private. Discussing UFOs can be a deeply personal and sensitive topic for some, and Musk might be no exception. It's no secret that Elon Musk is deeply committed to his work, with his main focus on revolutionizing the electric vehicle and space industries. His companies, Tesla and SpaceX, groundbreaking ventures. It's plausible that Musk hasn't had the time or inclination to delve into the UFO debate. Elon Musk is a high-profile figure, and anything he says or does attracts significant attention. Expressing a belief in UFOs could lead to unwanted attention, mockery, or even a dent in his credibility. Perhaps he prefers to avoid the potential backlash that often accompanies discussing unconventional topics like UFOs. Or is he being manipulated by the higher authorities to dismiss this controversial topic? Another angle to consider is the possibility of government involvement. Some conspiracy theorists argue that the government suppresses information about UFOs to maintain control over the public narrative. If Musk possesses knowledge or suspicions related to UFOs, he might be unwilling to share due to the potential repercussions from those in power. So what is it then? Is this the latest and most sophisticated version of denial tactics employed by those in power? Is Elon Musk now the modern-day personification of a weather balloon? Is Musk the 21st century swamp gas? Based on his own words, he appears to have knowledge. However, it seems that whoever holds control over global matters is preventing Elon from revealing the truth. Whoever pulls the world's strings has got a tight grip, and they're not letting Elon tell us the truth, because if he did, the world would listen.